Welcome to the STAM podcast. I'm Adar Sandhu, a Deputy Editor of the journal Science and Technology of Advanced Materials, STAM. This series of episodes focuses on the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the research activities of materials scientists worldwide. In this episode, we are joined by Professor Hong Lin, who is at the School of Materials Science and Engineering of Tsinghua University in Beijing. Professor Lin, welcome to the STAM podcast. So what's the weather like in Beijing today?
Oh, it's become very hot now. But we already finished this semester, all the teaching has been finished and all the thesis defense also finished this week.
So do you think we could start by asking you to give us an overview of your research activities at Tsinghua?
My research focus on the nanomaterial related solar cells. Nowadays, mainly on perovskite solar cells. Now I'm focused on the basic research of solar cells for materials and their mechanism of improving the efficiency and the stability. And for the application, we try to use it in some facility of transportation, but we have no real products now. We just have some prototype test and apply some patent.
I'd like to move on to the COVID-19 crisis now. What happened in your immediate environment following the first reports of the spread of the virus in January, February? How did you and your institute react to the potential crisis?
January, from the middle of January to middle of February was the winter vacation in China. So we just started the winter vacation, and then coronavirus started from Wuhan, and at that time we never thought it will spread to all over the world, all the country and all over the world. So we think maybe the spring semester can start on time. Maybe under the effective control, we can live as normal after maybe 1 month. But it's different. And after I think the beginning of the February, the lockdown of Wuhan is January 23, I think, and this is just 2 days before the Chinese New Year. And 24 is the eve of Chinese New Year. So we at that time our family discussed whether we should have a family dinner party. Finally, we had the dinner last supper. Since then, until now, we didn't have other parties for our family. For our university, university announced that all the professor, all the faculty and staff and students cannot return back to university, cannot return back to Beijing. They announced this. I think it's on maybe on 7th February. Around 7th February. that means the spring semester cannot be started on time. So and also university started to check everyone's electronic ID. So we should they already think maybe the new semester cannot be started on time, so we should teaching online. So we should prepared for teaching online at that time before the new semester. So they have a verification of all electronic ID from that time. And also they told us it's better not to go to foreign country to take a conference. So I canceled my several conference of invited talk. American, Korea, Japan, yeah. So before that, I reserved hotel, and I registered, and then I canceled them. So and for our school, our School of Material Science and Engineering, we also set up a emergency group. So they have a leader member work in university, work in the school every day to treat emergency. Also, those students who have returned back to university, the university treated them to set them in one concentrated building, let them live in a special concentrated building, and send them meals every day for free. And yeah, so that's the first measure our university and our school took.
What did you do about equipment and the running of the lab? Did you have to shut everything down? Were you allowed to go back and look after and maintain the equipment? What happened there?
So for example, for my laboratory, there is no, my doctor students, all of them had returned back to their hometown. So no one came back at that time. So I went to the laboratory to see whether the window or the electricity is okay or not. And also our school, the emergency group, they also check every laboratory to see whether there is some either dangerous things.
So how are you finding online teaching? Do you think it's effective?
I think online teaching is a good teaching method. Tsinghua University developed a program they called RIN class. It's RIN, whether it is RIN, the RIN class. And also other universities use this platform. And to protect the online teaching, we also improved that platform, that program in Tsinghua University, and they built a WeChat group and helped and set up and find a lot of teaching assistant to help those professors to teach them how to use this in class. Yeah. So at the beginning, yeah, we met a lot of problem, but one or two times later, it is okay. We can master the reading class, and I also during this time I renewed my classware and improved the quality of teaching, I think. And I also investigated whether the students like the reading class or not. I think half of them like it. Maybe they can lie on the bed to listen to the class. And also Zoom. This Zoom, we are using the Zoom and Tencent video, used in China, yeah, also are helpful for teaching. So in my case, I use the Tencent and the Ring class together, because Tencent can use video more fluently, and Ring class can set some interaction with students, and students can answer the question on the screen.
What about practical experiments, undergraduate and so on? How are you handling those?
Yeah. For the practical experiment, it cannot be practiced during this time. So some professors stopped their classes, and if it's just if it's just visiting, we also, in my case, I have a visiting laboratory, so I just lead them to visit our lab online. So we show them video and pictures online. But for those practical one, they cannot. They must delay. They should do it next semester.
How has your research been affected? Have you used the time to write more papers? Look at old data, perhaps?
Since the doctoral students cannot return back to school to do experiment, so the research has been delayed a lot. And I cannot submit reserved manuscript. We have invited manuscript before, but I cannot finish it since the data was not enough. And even now, students haven't started their experiment. For most students, only read literatures, and some students are writing review papers. And if you have some technique of simulation, it's a good. There are no effect, almost no effect to those students. You can simulate online.
What about conferences? Have you tried participating in virtual conferences?
Yes. During this period, several local Chinese conference talk and poster there, so we can listen. We can listen to those talk or share some academic news there. Yes.
Do you think there have been any positive aspects of this pandemic?
Generally speaking, I think it's not positive.
So nothing positive came out of this experience for you, teaching-wise, or even privately?
Teaching quality has been improved during this period because we have no experiment. We have no discussion on experiment with students, and we have no traffic jam. So we are only focus on teaching. So teaching quality has been improved, I think. also, I also consider the future research direction. What should be research? I think simulation should be introduced to our research. And I also followed some funding application. It's not concerned about science, but this spring I take a detailed notice of flower and trees. I atomic discovery is that I found every tree has flower. I didn't think tree has flower. Only flower has flower. But this tree, I found every kind of tree has flower. Sometimes the flower is in the same color of green, so you cannot find it. So, so now you can take a close notice for it. Yeah, it's a discovery. Yeah.
What about exercise? How did you manage to stay healthy during this lockdown?
Yes. Every day I take a walk. I practice every day. I will walk outside, and also I bought a indoor bicycle this time. Yeah, so not every day, but maybe 3 or 4 times I do that bicycle exercise.
Are there any restrictions in terms of going out? Are you allowed to go out and so on, where you are now?
Yeah, in my place, it is allowed. Not like Wuhan. At first time, they are closed. They cannot go out. Here, we can go area. We took mask every day. I took mask every day. So we take care, but we don't scare. From the beginning to now, we are allowed to go outside in Beijing. We are not closed down in Beijing. But a lot of place, camera, cinema, or some drama place, they are closed. Some park just open from April. So now most open place has been open, but closed place, some closed place are not open now.
What about children's schools? Are they open? What's the situation there?
From May last month, senior school has started, but primary school, the first 1, 2, 3 class are not allowed to go to school.
So how do parents cope with teaching their children? Is there any support?
I heard Beijing has this policy. If you have a children who cannot go to school, so one of the parents, father or mother, are allowed to stay home, not to work. It is allowed. So they can stay home to take care of their children. So, and they also, this is, and all the students, primary school students and senior school students are taking online teaching. All the teaching are performed.
And who teaches them?
School teacher, their original teacher.
And how do you think the children are finding staying at home and learning everything online? Do you think they like it? Or would they like to go back to school?
I'm not sure, but I see most of the children are happy to stay home. Maybe, yeah. Some of them are maybe want to go back to school to have more training.
I'm wondering what you miss about life before the lockdown. What you could, do before that you can't do now. What do you miss most?
For my daily life, for my personal, I cannot go to yoga, because yoga should be done inside the room. So it is it is not allowed now. And another problem is we cannot go to a restaurant, and we cannot go to university canteen for lunch and dinner. So we must buy vegetable and meat and cook and clean the dish every day. Yeah, yeah. But during this time, everybody's cooking technique improves. Yeah.
How do you maintain contact with your colleagues to discuss research and other things related to your university, perhaps? How do people manage there?
In China, we have WeChat. Yeah, WeChat. We use WeChat every day, several hours one day. So every news, every information can be communicated on WeChat. And the university and our school announced some policy or some information through WeChat. And also research, conference, communication all have been performed through WeChat. That's the main communication route.
How do you think things will unfold over the next 3 or 4 months? Do you think students will be allowed back on campus and lectures and things will come back to normal again?
We just finished all the teaching and all the thesis defense online these 2 weeks. And from last week, students, doctor and master students who will graduate this summer has been allowed to go back to university to take their graduation procedure, and but other students are not allowed still. But I think since the summer vacation has started soon, will start it soon. So it's no meaning to let them come back at this time. So, but the autumn semester, from middle of August, can be started on time, I think.
Finally, how would you summarize this whole experience? What do you think you've learned from COVID-19, and how do you see the future?
I think this kind of crisis will come maybe once 100 years. We cannot stop it. It will come, but we should face it. We should face, and we should take care, and we should not scare.
So, Professor Lin, thank you very much for sharing your experiences with us. Take care, and we look forward to hearing from you again, perhaps more about your research next time. Thank you.
Take care, please. You also take care. Okay, thank you. Okay, see you. Bye-bye.
This concludes this episode of the STAM podcast. Comments and suggestions can be sent to the STAM publication team using the email shown on the STAM Insights website, which also includes links to the latest highlights and papers published in STAM. On behalf of the STAM publishing team, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your company again.